So is Armani Stronger With You Intensely the best in the Stronger With You line of men's fragrances? Is it a strong fragrance and is it a compliment getter? That and more in this review. So I've been through 150 ml of Stronger With You Intensely. I'm on my second bottle of it and I use it on a lot of different occasions. I'm going to go through what it smells like, if the performance is good or bad, usage, compliments and more. I will also quickly compare it to some of the other ones in the line, but make sure you subscribe for my full comparison. Before I begin, a like on this video is highly appreciated, thank you, and make sure you subscribe. So let's take a look at the notes. Some of the notes in Armani Stronger With You Intensely are juniper, pink pepper, violet leaf, toffee, cinnamon, lavender, sage, amberwood, vanilla and suede. I'm gonna get to performance, compliments, and if it's the very best in the Stronger With You line of men's fragrances, but let's start with what it smells like. So the note structure, at least to me, is not that sort of a vertical and progressive, because as soon as I spray it on, I get a big dose of spices, vanilla and sweetness. The vanilla is listed as a base note and the cinnamon is listed as a heart note, but I'm getting both of those right away together with the pink pepper. You get an intense dose of spicy warmth from the cinnamon and the pink pepper, together with that sort of a signature Stronger With You vanilla, and everything is bittersweet. The vanilla is slightly different here compared to the original, but it's still that sort of a warm and quite smooth kind. Now, intense spiciness can sometimes come across as a bit sharp in fragrances, but this to me is a prominent and intense but smooth dose of that pink pepper and cinnamon. If you love the scent of vanilla and enjoy spicy scents, then it's pretty hard to not like the opening. Within a few minutes, the lavender comes in. That classic aromatic freshness sort of balances up that intense spiciness, and the combo is beautiful. I like the opening a lot, but I do enjoy the mids more, and it's really all thanks to its aromatic side. The more it goes into the dry down, the sweeter it gets, and the vanilla gets even more intense. While the vanilla and its sweetness is amped up, the spiciness of it gets pushed into the background, and everything is instead quite ambery. Vanillic, sweet and ambery, and a bit of its aromatic heart is still lingering around. I wish its aromatic side would have been more intense in the dry down, but this smells really good. Two things about its sweetness and amberiness. The sweetness in the dry down turns into this sort of a caramelish kind of sweetness. So if you absolutely love caramel in fragrances, then you most likely enjoy this. This got a bit of ambery warmth and shine to it, but it's not the most intense amber there is. It doesn't have the same sort of intensity and sort of top and shine to it compared to, let's say, Stronger With You amber and other more intensely ambery scents. So the dry down in a nutshell, a big warm dose of smooth vanilla with the sweetness of caramel and everything being ambery and a bit spicy. So a quick comparison. Quickly comparing Intensely with the original. Intensely has a more intense and richer dose of spiciness and sweetness. It's not as smooth as the original, it doesn't have the same nutty feel of it, and it's not as balanced. This is indeed intense. Comparing Intensely to Absolutely, I do think they are quite different. Absolutely is definitely not as sweet and spicy as Intensely, and it's instead a boozy and woody version of the original that retains a bit of the original's nuttiness and balsamic smoothness. And I do feel it's quite different compared to Stronger With You amber, Stronger With You oud and Stronger With You leather. All of them go in different sort of directions, and none of them is this spicy and sweet. And looking at the entire line, I do feel that this has its sort of a unique spot, with it being the most intensely spicy and sweet version of the original Stronger With You. So let's talk a bit about the vibe of Stronger With You Intensely. To me, this is all about a fun and sexy vibe. I don't think this is particularly classy or elegant. To me, it's more of a fun, flirty, cozy and sexy scent. So what about compliments and mass appeal? This is a wicked compliment getter. It's a mass appealing spicy sweet vanilla that a lot of people will enjoy getting a whiff of. So what about performance? Intensely is easily noticeable and lasts a long time. I'm getting strong projection for at least a few hours, and it does take quite some time for it to sort of sit closer to my skin. In other words, people usually notice it when I spray it on, and I can definitely feel the scent cloud on myself. So strong projection for sure, but I do not think this goes into beast mode. It's sort of a flirting with beast mode, but I do have other fragrances with more intense projection than this. Longevity on my skin is very good. If I would give Armani Stronger With You Intensely sort of a performance rating, this would probably be around 8 out of 10. So let's talk a bit about usage. So when it comes to seasons and occasions, this is most definitely a warmer kind of scent that's perfect for fall, winter and spring. I've used it on summer night out though with just a few sprays, and it smells absolutely gorgeous with a bit of warmth. But this is still a fragrance I mostly reach for spring, fall and winter. As for occasions, I think this works for both sort of a formal and casual occasions. With that said, this is like the perfect choice for going out or for going on a date. So who's Stronger With You Intensely for? I do think that the sort of a baseline here is that you probably should enjoy spicy and sweet scents, because this is most definitely sweet and intensely spicy. If you also enjoy the scent of vanilla, then you'll probably enjoy this. Now, if we turn that around, if you usually dislike spicy fragrances, if you usually stay away from sweet fragrances, and if you absolutely do not like vanillic focused sort of fragrances, then yeah, this is probably not for you. So what are some of the alternatives to Stronger With You Intensely? My first alternatives are going to be fragrances within the Stronger With You line. Let's start with the original, which is perfect if you prefer less sweetness and spiciness and instead a fantastic smoothness with a nutty scent to it. To me, the OG is definitely one of the most sort of balanced blends in the line. Absolutely is for someone who wants what is definitely one of the sexiest flankers. And it's basically a woody and boozy version of the original with the OG's fantastic nutty scent to it and everything being very smooth. A lot of people think Intensely is very similar to Azzaro the Most Wanted, the Eau de Parfum. And while I do think there are similarities, I do not think they are the same. But it's a great alternative that's spicy and woody with a sort of a caramelish kind of sweetness. Very sexy and an epic compliment getter. If you absolutely love the scent of caramel and vanilla, then I can highly recommend Jean-Paul Gaultier's Scandal Pour Homme. This is all about sweet caramel and vanilla, but with a fantastic contrast to it thanks to sage and vetiver. This is definitely another sexy scent. So how am I going to rate Armani Stronger With You Intensely? Stronger With You Intensely takes that Stronger With You DNA in an intensely sweet and spicy direction, and it smells really good. I kinda miss the chestnut note, but its intense sweetness sort of makes up for that. Performance is definitely approved, and when it comes to compliments and mass appeal, this scores high. Strong With You Intensely gets an 8.5 or 9 from me. It's a great scent that puts a smile on my face every single time I spray it on, and yes, this is another banger in the Stronger With You line. However, I do not think this is a masterpiece, and I do not think it's the best in the line. So what would have made me rate it higher? Sometimes I know exactly what I feel is missing, and sometimes it's definitely a lot harder to sort of pinpoint exactly what it is. This is the intensely sweet and spicy version, and it does that in a great way. Not sure what would have made me rate it higher considering that aspect, but I do think that I would have loved for its aromatic side to have been even more intense, to create a bit more sort of a contrast against that intense spiciness and sweetness, or something else to add some nuance or contrast to it all while still keeping it a spicy and sweet scent. So I would absolutely love to know how you would rate Armani Stronger With You Intensely from 1 to 10, so make sure you comment.